Harrisburg
that's
voter,
right.
and the BCS is coming up. So maybe we'll catch up with him a little bit later in the show. It's 2 after 8 o'clock here in the morning with Dogs on the Run. We're glad you're with us. Again, if you want to participate in the show, it's 216-431-3820 or Skype in at Dogs on the Run. Again, we invite you, if you're getting dressed this morning and you're listening to us through the internet or you're listening to us on the mobile app, just take us in the car with you on the way into work. If you want to call in, feel free to call in. Again, our public service announcement is don't look at your phone while you're doing that. You can hook in through your USB. You can Bluetooth into your car system, or, of course, you can just leave it on speakerphone and put it in the passenger seat next to you or on your little console right there, and we'll help you get into work this morning as we talk about the Browns and what's going on with the quarterback situation, and we look ahead to Detroit.
As always, we want to remind you, do not Skype and drive.
You're a good man.
That was our PSA.
That's it. You are a good man. Again, 216-431-3820. That is the number to call in. In this final half hour, we've got a ton of great stuff coming up. Josh Cribbs will come back with us. We'll talk to Kenny Rhoda one more time. Matt Wood from Dogs by Nature is going to join in with us. Garrett Downing from the Ravens Report. We'll get the lowdown on what happened with Baltimore yesterday. They had a pretty good game to come back and win in that game. And Matt Wilhelm will join us. And, of course, I just touched on it a little bit, but Matt played for Norv Turner in San Diego, and Saturday night while we were watching the Ohio State game really gave me a pretty good breakdown of how Norv Turner works these practices and what he will do for Brandon Weeden as they try to get him back into this thing. Now, one of the other things we want to talk about, too, are the Steelers, who had the day off yesterday. They are 0-4, and it is very weird to look at the standings and say, wow, Pittsburgh's out of this thing.
Haven't they had 4 weeks off, though?
Oh, wow.
Oh, huh?
Ouch.
Hey, now.
Typical Browns fan right there. All right, so let's go back to the Skype line, and we will do that by getting a hold of Matt Lodi, who is hanging out. Is Matt ready there? Eric, the referee?
He looks
ready. Oh, good morning. Hello. We're hanging out on the couch with you today, Matt.
I'm chilling, guys. You know, I mean, it's early in the morning, and it's Monday, and I didn't have to worry about a loss yesterday, so just relaxing and maxing today, boys.
Hey, tell him to look up again.
Look up again.
Hey, look up.
Look up. Look up in the air.
Look up in the air, Matt.
Like, I can't hear you at all, buddy. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's typical Steelers. For some reason, I think you can hear us, but you're just playing along with us. Oh, he's frozen. This is what the Steelers have been, as our Steelers expert. Absolutely frozen, disappointed. They can't make anything
Not
happen.
getting anything. I can't hear you guys. Why don't I hang up and try again?
All right, we'll try again. You know what? That has been the story of the Steelers season this year, hasn't it?
I should have just made something for him. I could have just went like this.
Yeah.
And this. And then, let me see if I can.
This is like art class with Mr. Karen.
And I'm horrible. I should have just went like that.
Still can't see
So look up. Can you see it?
Yeah, now you can see it a little bit.
There you are. And there's the orange helmets.
All right, Eric, the referee, throw a
go.
flag on yourself because that was a bad Skype connection.
Yeah.
And are we going to be able to get him back again?
We have them up. Try it again.
All right, let's try it one more time. On Skype, too, that's Matt Lodi, Steelers Gab.
Hey,
Now, can you hear us?
Now I can hear you fine, guys. Good
All
morning.
right, much better. We were just making fun of the Steelers, so. Uh-oh, I see that look.
And it's out again.
There we go. And his glazed eyes in his face make me think that the Steelers are going to have a bad season.
We can hear him fine.
Matt, we can hear you. Just tell us, can you hear us now?
No, he can't hear us.
He can't hear us. Well, it is a wonderful view of, I see he's got a picture of his family up in the background. We tried. You know what? In all honesty, when it comes to talking about the Steelers, that's about as much as we're going to get anyways.
I didn't want to hear much about the Steelers anyways. I could care less. To be honest with you, I really could. They do nothing for me.
It is enjoyable, though, to see Steelers. And now at least they have the Pirates. That's the thing about Pittsburgh right now.
And what is that series? Is it?
Does it really matter? They're in Pittsburgh.
No, it doesn't. You're right.
Baseball season ended last week.
Yeah, it did.
Are they still playing?
Unfortunately,
I wasn't
but
sure.
not for our
I can't
city.
even find out what channel they're on anymore. 216-431-3820 is the number to call in, or hit us on Skype at Dogs on the Run. You want to do Twitter, you can go Andy_Baskin. You can do Mike Cairns 5 on Facebook, Andy Baskin, WEWS, or Mike Cairns, WEWS. And we are willing to talk to you, and we're more than happy to talk to you. What was the one Skype question that we were talking about? What is the main difference between Brandon Weeden after the first 2 weeks of the exhibition season to where he is right now, other than the fact that his hand was hurt and he had to miss 2 weeks? Although I'll tell you this, I still say to this day, after he hurt his hand, and excuse me, and he's talked about what happened in college with the same kind of injury, they taped him up and put him right back in. I think it was a convenient injury to get Hoyer in the situation.
Well, yeah. I mean, and you heard Kenny even say the same thing. Brian Hoyer was their guy going forward. Think about the way the quarterback situation came about going into this season. They wanted Brian Hoyer. They wanted him all along, but things were a little slow to develop with him, so they jumped to Jason Campbell and made him the number 2. But I think Hoyer was going to be the guy all along.
All right, let's go to the phone line. Chris, I'm sorry, I covered up my phone line there, so I didn't see you for about 5 minutes. Chris Fedor joins us from 92.3 The Fan. Hi, Chris.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
You are what's going on. What would you do with the Browns quarterback situation right now, and what kind of confidence do you have in Brandon Weeden?
Well, I don't have a ton of confidence in Brandon Weeden, but at the same time, I've been saying this since Brian Hoyer went down. It's not like Aaron Rodgers got hurt and you have to turn things over to Graham Harrell, or it's not like E.J. Manuel went down and you've got to go to Jeff Toole, or Tom Brady went down and you got to go to Ryan Mallett. I think it could be a worse situation for the Browns, obviously, but Brandon Weeden, I didn't know that they were going to go anywhere with him as the quarterback, and I didn't know if they were going to go anywhere with Brian Hoyer as the quarterback. So I think they're pretty much the same team, I feel like anyway, that they were Wednesday or they were Thursday before Brian Hoyer even got hurt.
You're the big fantasy football expert. In terms of the Browns now with Brandon Weeden coming back, the fantasy values of Josh Gordon and Jordan Cameron, did they go up? Did they go down? Did they flatline? Or is it going to have to be a wait-and-see situation?
I think they're going to be pretty similar, Mike. And if anything, I would say Josh Gordon gets a little bit of a boost because it seems like there's more of a chemistry with Brandon Weeden and Josh Gordon, and there was more of a chemistry between Jordan Cameron and Brian Hoyer. Not to mention, I think Josh Gordon and what he provides, that deep threat, the ability to stretch the field vertically, I think that fits better with Brandon Weeden. So if anything, Gordon gets a little bit of a boost, and Cameron goes down a little bit, but it's still not that much. Jordan Cameron's still a top 5 tight end in fantasy football. Brandon Weeden's just going to have to learn that Jordan Cameron's the second best pass catcher on this team. And I think the thing that's in the favor of Jordan Cameron, guys, is that Norv Turner is going to continue to get him involved, and he's going to continue to call plays for him because Norv Turner is a brilliant offensive coordinator. You can say what you want to about him as a head coach, but as an offensive coordinator, he's brilliant, and he's always been able to get his tight ends involved, and he's always been able to find a way to get his best weapons involved, whether it be in the running game or in the passing game. And Jordan Cameron right now is the second best weapon the Browns have on offense behind Josh Gordon.
You talk about Norv Turner, and for me, I just, maybe you can answer this for me. When I listen to, or when I watch what's going on here with the quarterback situation, I saw Brian Hoyer out there, and when Brian Hoyer's on the field, the playbook looks like it's 1,000 pages. When Brandon Weeden's in, that playbook looks like it's a pamphlet of about 6 or 7 pages.
I think that's fair, sure. And I think you hit on, Andy, one of the big differences between Brian Hoyer and Brandon Weeden. I think they're both flawed quarterbacks, but there are obviously things that Brian Hoyer can do that Brandon Weeden can't do. Just like there are things that Brandon Weeden can't do, completing deep balls to Greg Little and Josh Gordon, that Brian Hoyer can't. But Brian Hoyer gets the ball out quicker. He diagnoses a defense quicker. And I think coaches, they can mask his weaknesses better than they can mask the weaknesses of Brandon Weeden. I think coaches feel more comfortable giving Brian Hoyer different plays, different checks, different concepts, as opposed to Brandon Weeden. You know, Brandon Weeden, when he was in college, guys, he was turning to the sidelines to his coach, and his coach was telling him what to audible into. Brian Hoyer wasn't doing those kinds of things, so it's still been a huge adjustment for Brandon Weeden from the college game to the NFL game. And you're right, Andy, it still looks like things are moving way too fast for him, and I'm not sure how that changes, except for experience.
Outstanding. Chris, we'll talk to you on next Monday, too, after the Browns-Lions game, too. So, Chris, thank you so much. Appreciate you holding on there for a little bit, and we'll get with you next week. We'll make sure we listen to you on 92.3 The Fan, and make sure we read your stuff online as well.
You got it, guys. Anytime.
There you go. Chris Fedor does a great job. Really knows his stuff, especially when it comes to fantasy, too. All right, quickly, I want to go back to the newsroom, see what's going on with social media. What do you got for us, Connor?
Hey, guys. Still trying to get some feedback from Browns fans this morning, and the talk turned a little bit from the team to the uniforms. That was a big talker on Thursday night. One of our fans told us that they looked like they were sponsored by UPS, the all-brown look. Not a fan, one of our followers.
Connor, if anyone wants to get engaged in the social media aspect of this show, Dogs on the Run, what do they need to do?
Use the hashtag DAWGS get on Twitter, Facebook, all social media, and we have our web chat right under the live stream on newsnet5.com.
All right, outstanding. Thank you, Connor. Let's go back to the other Skype line right now. I don't know if you're going to dress like UPS, you might as well deliver, and that's what the Browns have done for the last 3 games, Josh. And they've got a 3-game winning streak, and no matter what you say, this team is ready to roll. They know how to win now, and I think that's the most important thing. And Josh, when you look back to that win on Thursday night, to go down and then come back and retake the lead, those are the little things I think Browns fans are looking for to want to believe in this team.
Definitely. This team right now, has an identity, mainly on defense. At the same time, it's a lot of talk about Whedon. He was the starting quarterback. I mean, guys, we got to look at what we have here. And I think one guy called in. It's not like, Peyton Manning went down and it was like Hoyer wasn't that guy, So I think that, Whedon will step up. I think he has this whole week ahead of him. Noah Turner will be in his ear. And I think when you guys were talking about other quarterbacks that they may be interested in to bring in, I think, the best guy on that list, was Derek Anderson, by Chud being with him early on and him fitting in this offense. But at the same time, I think Whedon will step up. I think he will, he's recognized the heat. He's recognized that he does need to speed his pace up. He does need to help the offense out, the offensive line out. But when you look at, the both teams on paper, the Lions kind of match us a little bit. When I'm looking at it right here and I see, at linebacker they have Levy, we have DeQuell Jackson. So the standstill until you get to that running back position. They have Reggie and Bell, they're averaging pretty good, in yards. They have a better quarterback situation than us, of course. They have Sue. We have, Big Phil Taylor and company. They have Sue and company. So we're pretty much, evenly matched on the defense side of things. But when you look at the offense side of things, that's where our problems lie. And I think that if we can keep, with the downfield attacking and pick up that scoring opportunity and take advantage of our opportunities, it will be a showdown against this team. And in areas that we need to step up as special teams, they can dominate this team via special teams. We need big plays out of Travis consistently. We need him to set up, whenever they give a punt coverage or punt to us, Travis needs to set the team up, with excellent field position. It needs to be no drop-off on that. He needs to be a consistent threat. They need to get something out of that kick return. And I'm not just being biased, but if you look at last game, the only reason that they scored the first 10 points was because we started on our own inside the 10 twice. And that was terrible. And it was hard for me to look at that kick return because then they were, it backed them up so far, and then they had that punt on the short field, and that put them in scoring position. So, some people may overlook the kick return until you're getting stopped inside the 10 every play, every kickoff return. And that was big. In one area, I think this team, the Browns, can outweigh this team going into Detroit is via special teams. And I feel like, they need to do something about that kick return. It's not an area of the game where you can just throw anybody back there because field position is big when you have two teams that might be evenly matched. If Whedon shows up, don't think that Stafford not going to show up. They're going to put up points against a good Browns defense. And we're going to put up points against a good Detroit defense. So the area might be field position, and it might come down to special teams. It might come down to kick return. That change of possession. They might, force them to, 3 and out and be on the short field. And that plagued them last week. And, that could have been, something big and greatly, Travis Benjamin changed that field position and we won that battle. Same time, I'm tired of the kick return, man. They got to do something about that. Me being a kick return specialist, it saddens my heart. I'm available. Hey.
Hey, one of the things that I'm interested to see is how the Browns come out this week after it essentially would be 10 days. But it's kind of weird. When you have a bad record, you get the early bye in the NFL. And sometimes I guess you could say it's an early chance to rest your body. But now, and then on the flip side, Josh, now it's a grind from here on out. There's no breaks the rest of the way. So it's kind of interesting. Talk a little bit about, from a player's standpoint, how they kind of attacked this week after the long layoff and then also preparing yourself for the long run.
Oh man, it's tremendous pressure, especially off of this win, because you're trying to, get that out of your head. You have to look towards the next opponent. You have to have a short, even when we have a loss, we have to get that out of our mind and to concentrate on the next opponent, because, even though the city is riding high now, that could be all taken away with a loss, and then we could start to question the team. We're riding high right now. They're doing really well first. And I love, by the way, how you guys are getting on Steelers. I was just having a blast with that one. I was like, keep going. No, don't stop. Keep going. Of course his Skype doesn't work. They have nothing to talk about. And that's on purpose by design. So I was loving that. But at the same time, guys need to simply, have a short memory. Just like quarterbacks in the NFL, when they make a mistake, whether they throw an interception or not, they have to have a short memory in order to keep things going, keep the pace moving. They're professionals. So on this grind, they have the rest of the season ahead of them. They have to just consistently play good football. They have to finish strong. And, every player wants the bye to be, 8 games in, so they can get a rest. But at the same time, that's not realistic. We're professionals. We have to perform each and every week. We have to perform with a short memory each and every week. Because in the NFL, it's what have you done for me lately, and that's what it is each and every week. If we win next week, we'll be talking and riding high and talking about the keys to victory for the next game, and talking about how Whedon is stepping up after all. But if we lose this game, it'll be, oh man, I told you Hoyer was a better quarterback and this and that. So they need to continue to play good football and win games in order to keep the morale and the momentum of their season going.
Josh, thank you very much. We always appreciate your time. Hopefully this week you'll be wearing a jersey by next week.
Definitely, guys. I appreciate you. I'll see you next week, guys.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
See you,
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it. Great job. Always giving us the insight that
Yeah.
I think a lot of people want to hear.